My name is Howie Hawkins. I'm the Green Party candidate for U.S. Senate in New York State, and I'm running against Hillary Clinton. My position on health care is it should be publicly financed national health insurance program to cover everybody, and expanded and improved Medicare for all. There's a bill in the House called H.R. 676, and I would introduce companion legislation in the Senate. And the reason we need that is it's more efficient than private health insurance, where the overhead is 30%. And that's because of all the paperwork. Every doctor needs 2.5 people to carry out the paperwork on average to get reimbursed from the insurance companies. And they got to pay profits to the shareholders, and the CEOs of these and the management of these private insurance companies are getting excessively high salaries. By contrast, single public payer systems like our Medicare system or the Canadian single payer system, the overhead's around 3%. So through the efficiency alone, we can cover everybody and still save money. According to Physicians for a National Health Plan, $286 billion a year. What we have now, our private health insurance system, is the most irrational and inefficient system of healthcare financing in the world. Every other country has some kind of public financing of the health insurance. But we've got private health insurance where it's so expensive that 47 million Americans have no insurance and 50 million are underinsured, which means they're just a serious illness away from personal bankruptcy because when the bills mount up. So as a result, this country ranks 37th in the world in healthcare outcomes according to the World Health Organization. And according to the institute set up by Congress to advise on health care, that costs 18,000 lives a year of people who wait until it's too late to get medical attention. So this is an issue of life and death. It's an issue of people being able to afford basic medical care. And there's a very simple, straightforward solution. It's a solution that the Democrats had in their platform from Truman until the Clintons. And unfortunately, Hillary Clinton, when she was put in charge of the health care task force that the White House set up in 1993, said the single-payer thing's off the table. We're going to go with mandates and subsidies for private health insurance. I call it compulsory private health insurance. It may be universal, but it's enormously wasteful. And it isn't totally universal, but it approaches it. But it's like the Massachusetts plan that just got adopted, which is basically written by the Heritage Foundation. It's a way of subsidizing private industry. But the insurance companies are basically cannibalizing other industrial sectors. So now airlines, auto, a lot of those companies are saying, yeah, this single-payer system is beginning to look good to us because healthcare is becoming such a big part of our company's total costs. So the people want it. The polls show that. Now even some of the big businesses want it. It's time to get it. And that's why I'm running. And to give voice to that, we know in New York State, people want this by a margin of 3-1. So I'm running as the Green Party candidate to give voice to that issue, the majority of New Yorkers. And I hope we get a big vote and get this issue back on the public agenda.
What inspired you to be passionate about this issue?
Well, I've seen so many people who needed medical attention not go because they couldn't afford it. You walk into a Walmart in upstate New York or a rural town and you see people like young women, their teeth are falling out. They got to see a dentist. They can't afford to. And they're going to lose all their teeth. And in my own experience, I've had, injuries. Like if you looked at this elbow, it looks like a Popeye elbow. I broke it right there. It had to have a screw put in. Fortunately, at that time, they fixed it and then they didn't charge me. They just said I was injured. This is about 35 years ago. Another time I ruptured a disc in my back. And I did have insurance, so I was lucky. I worked construction back then. Both these accidents were related to construction. So, if I hadn't had insurance when I hurt my back, I don't know what I'd have done because I was really disabled from that. I've fully recovered. I unload trucks for a living now, but at the time, it was a real concern. So, it's just something that you think about people. There's a solution to their problem, and in every other industrial country, they can go just get it taken care of. In this country, it becomes a decision. Do they feed their family? Do they pay the utilities? Or do they take their kid to the doctor? They shouldn't have to make that decision.
She's alone all by herself. Her body and her car's a mess. And nobody cares about a thing she says. cut your losses and pack it in. Just taking it for a spin. Just lucky you didn't wind up dead. Playing it safe wasn't